A storm destroys the ship. A single man survives. Then the real story begins. Not the story of adventure. The story of isolation. What happens to the human mind when society disappears? What remains of a person after years of silence, fear, labor, and loneliness? This is the question at the center of Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Published in 1719, the novel is often considered one of the earliest English novels. But its lasting power comes from something deeper. Robinson Crusoe transforms survival into a psychological, spiritual, and philosophical struggle. At the beginning of the novel, Crusoe believes freedom means escape. Escape from family. Escape from responsibility. Escape from ordinary life. But the island teaches him a brutal lesson. A human being can escape society. He cannot escape himself. Robinson Crusoe is born into a middle-class family in York, England. His father believes the middle class offers the safest and most balanced life because it avoids both poverty and dangerous ambition. He warns Crusoe never to go to sea. But Crusoe is restless. Stability feels like limitation to him. He wants movement, risk, discovery, and wealth. Adventure becomes an obsession. Ignoring his parents' warnings, he secretly leaves home and joins a sea voyage. That decision shapes the entire novel. Again and again, Crusoe remembers his father's advice and realizes something painful. Many of his sufferings begin with pride and disobedience. During his first voyage, a violent storm nearly destroys the ship. Terrified, Crusoe promises God that he will return home if he survives. The moment the storm ends, he breaks the promise. This moment reveals an important weakness in Crusoe's character. Desire controls him more than wisdom. Later, pirates from North Africa capture his ship, and Crusoe is taken to Salé as a slave. After years of captivity, he escapes with the help of a boy named Surrey. Eventually, Crusoe reaches Brazil and becomes the owner of a successful plantation. But success only increases his ambition. Wanting greater profit, he joins another sea expedition connected to the slave trade. The voyage ends in disaster. A violent storm destroys the ship, and Crusoe becomes the only survivor. He reaches a deserted island near the mouth of the Orinoco River in South America. In a single moment, civilization vanishes from his life. At first, fear overwhelms him. He may never return home. He may never see another human being again. For the first time in his life, survival matters more than ambition. Fortunately, the broken ship remains near the shore for several days. Crusoe repeatedly returns to it and carries supplies back to the island: tools, weapons, food, ropes, wood, gunpowder, and clothes. He does not collapse into despair. He observes, calculates, plans, and works. Daniel Defoe describes these survival activities with extraordinary detail. Readers watch Crusoe build shelters, organize supplies, measure time, grow crops, and solve problems step by step. This realism changed English fiction. The novel feels convincing because survival is presented as labor, not fantasy. Slowly, Crusoe transforms the island. He builds shelters. He grows barley and rice. He domesticates goats. He bakes bread. He creates furniture and pottery. Piece by piece, chaos becomes order. But Crusoe is not simply building a home. He is building psychological control. The island constantly threatens him with uncertainty, loneliness, and fear. Through routine and labor, he fights back against mental collapse. Crusoe also keeps a journal. Writing becomes a way of preserving structure, memory, and identity. Without discipline, isolation could destroy his mind long before hunger destroys his body. The island tests every part of him. Before the shipwreck, religion means little to Crusoe. He rarely reflects seriously on morality or spirituality. Isolation changes that. At first, he sees himself as unlucky. But suffering forces him into self-examination. Illness, loneliness, and fear strip away distraction. Crusoe begins reading the Bible regularly and starts confronting his past actions honestly for the first time. Gradually, he believes his suffering is connected to pride, selfishness, and disobedience. At the same time, he believes God has saved him. This spiritual transformation becomes central to the novel. The island turns Crusoe inward. He can no longer escape himself through movement or ambition. His greatest struggle is no longer against nature alone. It is against fear, guilt, despair, and spiritual emptiness. Even after learning how to survive physically, Crusoe suffers emotionally from extreme loneliness. The silence becomes heavy. He misses voices, conversation, human presence itself. Sometimes fear overwhelms him so completely that he can barely think rationally. To protect himself psychologically, he creates strict routines and follows them every day. Through Crusoe's isolation, Defoe reveals an important truth about human nature. Survival requires more than food and shelter. Human beings need society. One day, Crusoe discovers a single human footprint in the sand. This is one of the most famous scenes in English literature because it completely changes the emotional atmosphere of the novel. Until this moment, Crusoe fears loneliness. Now he fears other people. The footprint destroys his sense of safety. Suddenly, the island no longer feels empty. Crusoe immediately imagines violence, cannibals, and death. Fear transforms him. He becomes suspicious, defensive, and constantly alert. The footprint symbolizes uncertainty itself, the terrifying realization that the unknown may already be watching. Later, Crusoe sees cannibals bringing prisoners to the island. He rescues one prisoner from death and names him Friday because they meet on a Friday. Friday becomes Crusoe's companion after years of isolation. Crusoe teaches him English and converts him to Christianity. Friday proves intelligent, courageous, adaptable, and loyal. For the first time in many years, Crusoe is no longer alone. Yet their relationship also reveals the colonial attitudes inside the novel. Crusoe immediately renames Friday instead of asking his real name. He assumes European religion, language, and culture are naturally superior. Friday is expected to obey Crusoe and adopt Crusoe's way of life. Defoe presents this authority as normal, revealing how deeply colonial thinking shaped 18th century Europe. Because of this, modern critics often study Robinson Crusoe not only as a survival story, but also as a colonial text connected to imperial expansion and cultural domination. After many years, an English ship arrives near the island. However, the sailors have rebelled against their captain in a mutiny. Crusoe helps the captain defeat the rebels and regain control of the ship. As a reward, Crusoe is finally rescued after living on the island for 28 years, 2 months, and 19 days. When he returns to England, he discovers that his plantation in Brazil has made him wealthy. Yet one truth remains unchanged. The desire for adventure still exists inside him. The island transformed Crusoe. But it did not erase him. The novel explores several major themes, but all of them grow naturally from Crusoe's isolation. Survival is the central theme. Crusoe survives through discipline, patience, intelligence, and adaptability. Defoe presents survival as continuous labor rather than heroic fantasy. But survival in the novel is not only physical. Crusoe must survive mentally and spiritually as well. Another major theme is individualism and self-reliance. Crusoe depends mainly on his own abilities. Through labor and discipline, he transforms wilderness into structure and stability. To Defoe's society, Crusoe represented the ideal individual, productive, resourceful, practical, and economically successful. Religion is equally important. Isolation forces Crusoe into spiritual reflection. suffering becomes the experience that pushes him towards self-understanding and religious faith. The novel suggests that hardship can transform human character by forcing people to confront their weaknesses honestly. The conflict between civilization and wilderness also shapes the story. Crusoe recreates aspects of European civilization on the island through farming, construction, organization, and control over nature. For Crusoe, civilization is something built manually against chaos. Colonialism remains one of the most important themes in modern literary criticism of the novel. Crusoe claims authority over both the island and Friday. He assumes European culture is superior and believes he has the right to educate and control others. These attitudes reflect the realities of European imperial expansion during the 18th century. Crusoe himself is one of the most psychologically important characters in early English fiction. At the beginning, he is impulsive, ambitious, proud, and impatient. Adventure matters more to him than wisdom or stability. But isolation changes him slowly. The reckless traveler becomes disciplined, practical, reflective, and deeply religious. Yet Crusoe never becomes perfect. He remains capable of arrogance, control, and cultural superiority. That complexity makes him believable. Friday is equally important to the novel's meaning. He is intelligent, loyal, brave, and adaptable. He becomes Crusoe's companion after years of emotional isolation. At the same time, his relationship with Crusoe exposes the unequal power structures of colonial society. Friday is both a companion and a symbol of imperial control. One of the most important literary features of Robinson Crusoe is realism. Defoe fills the novel with practical details about survival, construction, farming, hunting, cooking, and problem-solving. These details make the story feel authentic and believable. The first-person narration strengthens this realism because readers experience events directly through Crusoe's mind. Symbolism also plays an important role. The island symbolizes isolation and self-discovery. The footprint symbolizes fear and uncertainty. Friday symbolizes both companionship and colonial power. Through these symbols, Defoe transforms a survival narrative into a deeper exploration of psychology, society, religion, and power. Students should remember that Robinson Crusoe is never just an adventure novel. It is a survival story, a psychological study of isolation, a spiritual journey, a novel about self-reliance, and a colonial text connected to European imperialism. For examinations, students should focus especially on Crusoe's character development, his spiritual transformation, the psychological effects of loneliness, the theme of self-reliance, the relationship between Crusoe and Friday, colonial attitudes in the novel, and Defoe's realistic narrative style. Strong literary analysis always combines story details with interpretation. Robinson Crusoe remains influential because it transforms external adventure into internal struggle. The novel asks questions that still feel modern. What happens when civilization disappears? Can isolation transform personality? What keeps human beings mentally strong during suffering? And does survival alone make someone civilized? Crusoe fights storms, hunger, fear, loneliness, guilt, uncertainty, and despair. But his greatest battle is against himself. That is why the novel still feels powerful centuries later. Daniel Defoe created more than a story about survival. He created a study of human nature under pressure. Crusoe escapes the island. But he never escapes the person the island forced him to become.